Hello, 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 and welcome to Conversations with Esther. We can chat, we can connect on the chat and say hello. Hello, let's wait. It's 5 minutes to time, so we can just wait for the rest to join at 7. But in the meantime, we can engage on the chat. We can engage on the chat. Hello, it's 3 minutes to time. We start at 7. Hi, Matara, how are you? Hi, I see you. How are you? So let's just wait for the rest to join. Today's topic is very interesting. So you can be posting your questions if you have any on the job seekers so that yes, sure, it will be a splendid, candid one, very candid conversation. I think it's to the benefit of everyone. Either someone is looking to move or someone looking for a job. I think it is important that we have candid conversations. And thank you for joining in, Alina. Yes, and if you need to vet your current or your next employer, this is a place to be. So it's now 7. Can give them 1 minute. I know I can see number. As we continue, how do you overcome micromanagement? Because micromanagement is an issue that has led to people changing careers and companies. We'll discuss that. That's actually a source of toxicity in the workplace, micromanagement. And bosses that micromanage employees are bosses that trust employees or are not able to delegate. Karibu sana. Once you join, please just say hello on the chat so that we know who is in, and give this a thumbs up so that we know you're right there. I see quite a number joining. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. Nice to see you here. Karibu sana. If we agree, then we can start at 7:05 in 2 minutes. Glad to be here. Good, 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 Rebecca. I see someone else has joined. Can still say hi to us. We're just about to start. Go to the chat, let hello. Today is serious conversations, candid conversations. So if you're an employer or you have your boss that can join, feel free to share the link. I know you have the link. Share with as many people as you can so that they can join and listen in. Um, my good friend is here, Simon from Tanzania. How are you? It's finally here. Derek is here. So I think in a minute or so, 7:05 sharp, we kick off. They will catch up with us. I think we need to also teach time management to people. So today is candid. I know Simon. Simon, you said you're coming with your file of questions. We are right here. We all have the answers. We all have the answers. So in a minute by 7:05, I'm looking at the clock. I will kick off. Let's keep chatting. I see we are quite a number. I have seen a question there on micromanagement. Yeah, I have received a side chat on people vetting their bosses and their employers. So today is the day. Today we speak. We get to have a candid conversation. So straight on, it's 7:05. So we kick off. If you allow me, we can pray. Father, in Jesus' name, we thank you for this conversation that we are about to have. We pray that you will go before us and that you will speak to us. I thank you for the rest that will join. Bless them and bless their families and bless their work in Jesus' name. Amen. So great. Thank you very much for joining. As always, Conversations with Esther Katiba is a place to be. Every Wednesday, 7 to 8 p.m. And that said, we are very active and we have in a lot of information on our sites. We have the YouTube, that's Conversations with Esther. We have our Instagram, Conversations with Esther. We have our Facebook page, Conversations with Esther. And we have my LinkedIn, which is Esther Katiba. Now, I want to thank my LinkedIn followers. I know most of you are. We are now moving into, I think, should be, yes, 43,989. So that's really a good following. And I want to thank you. It would not have been possible without you. Now, please feel free, share this link with as many people as you can. Let them join this conversation. Now, 2 weeks ago, as we kick off, 2 weeks ago, I made a post on LinkedIn, and that's really the basis of this conversation. And I'm looking at the post. If you see me looking on the side, I am on that post. I'm not going to something else. So it's always good to just explain to your audience because I'm looking at it on the phone so that we are able to speak about it. So 2 weeks ago, I made this post that says, "Job seekers, be advised." Now, the post has about 123 comments, 116 reposts, and 100,011 998 impressions. So just 2 impressions now, and we hit 112,000. Now that clearly says we need to discuss this. We need to talk about this. And that's why we are here today. Now I see, what is Simon saying? We start with what would be your highlight on attending the question, how to talk about yourself. We will get there, Simon. I know you have come with a whole bag of questions. We will get there. About the interviews and the rest. Now, let me discuss this. I sat down and really it had disturbed me for quite a long time when I see people who get jobs and they're so excited, and the first thing they send on LinkedIn and on social media is, "I'm excited to join this company." Um, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. However, looking at it and thinking through it, I got to think about some jobs work, others don't work. And looking at those that work, I know there are more than those that don't work, but today we want to address some issues and some areas that you need to focus on. So, my first comment was, and I said, what should you do to avoid regrettable career moves? Now, we all make moves, and I'm not saying don't make a move. Please make a move. If the offer is good and great, make a move. But above all, if the environment is healthy for you. Actually, we are moving into May. May is a mental wellness month. We are moving into a month that the mental wellness campaign and issues have really been big on especially in the workplace, and unlike other reasons, maybe stress in the family and other places, the workplace has really become a place where Stress is really the main cause of issues, mental wellness, poor work-life balance. When you talk about work-life balance, I know people want to say, I want to work a number of hours and rest the rest of the hours. It's really nothing much about. I know there is a lot to do with the number of hours and how much a person can take in, but I think the biggest is the work environment that needs to be discussed. Hi, Elena. I'm looking at that. Thank you. So I went into some things and pitfalls that you need to really avoid and how to avoid those things. And the first one was be clear on your career growth path, so you don't move around aimlessly. Now, if you do not have a written or a set career path, you will go for any job. You will apply for every job that you see. You will move into any opportunity that comes. People will keep sharing jobs with you. But if you don't understand where you want to go, if you don't know what you want to be in another 5 years or 10 years, or really what you need to pursue, if you don't understand your area of expertise and the direction that you want to go, um, then you will move aimlessly. It's just like if you're going nowhere, then anywhere is your destination. I think that's the best that we can say. So if you understand where you're going, if you understand what you want with your life, if you understand what you want with your career, then you should be able to focus on the areas that you want to grow in. Now, not every job is for you, even if they pay you so much. Not every job is for you. So we need to understand. So be clear on your career growth path so you don't move around aimlessly. Um, People can send you jobs, of course, that you see match your competence, um, but you don't have to take every job. I keep saying that. Just define your path, define which direction you want to go, define where you want to be in the next few years. Now, number two was consult your mentors. I don't know how many people have mentors on this call. If you have a mentor, say yes, just type in yes. If you don't have, say no. I think maybe that's a program we need to start, mentorship. But consult your mentors um, on your career change and the decisions that you want to make. Um, Before you can make any move, I like that. Simon has a mentor. Who else has a mentor and who doesn't have a mentor? There's nothing wrong with not having a mentor. You can always start now. We can work out a program. We can actually build a program within ourselves to start mentoring, which is absolutely free. So don't shy away from saying I don't have a mentor, I need a mentor. Consult your mentor or your coach, depends on what level you are at. Learn to speak to somebody else before you can make a career move. Learn to get the views of somebody else, because that person will see it from a different perspective. That person is a mentor really is more informed than you. Your mentor is like your instructor. Your mentor will tell you, walk on this path, don't go in this direction, don't go into this direction. So your mentor will also be able to ask you questions and advise you. You can brainstorm on it. It's not even about the salary and everything, but your mentor will look into it and ask you questions on really what are you looking for in that job. So consult your mentor so that you're not making emotional decisions. I have seen people change jobs on emotions, or even people resign on emotions. And it's a conversation we had with someone saying that people nowadays, when they are grieved in a certain place, they just resign. They don't even know where they're going. They don't even know what they want to do thereafter, but they just resign. So that you don't make emotional decisions and you don't jump from a very good job to what looks appetizing. uh, they say the grass is not always green on the other side. As you see it, it could be that carpet fake grass. So just make sure that you're clear on it. Talk to somebody that you trust. Talk to somebody who is more mature. Talk to someone that is more experienced than you. Talk to someone that you trust and you know that they have your goodwill at heart. Someone that can say no, you're not going to take this job. Stay where you are, or someone that can challenge on the job, and really hold you accountable. So talk to your mentor, consult before you can change a job. Learn to do it. Don't just do make decisions. Career decisions are really um, life-changing decisions. They impact your life. They impact your family. They impact your growth. They impact financial status. They impact your entire family, because sometimes you make a career move and you want to either go abroad or something that could positively affect your family. So it is important for you to talk to a mentor who will give you some guidance and help you through the decision that you want to make. Number three was ask yourself before you make a decision. And I remember in the post I said, before you make a move, before you even sign that offer letter, ask yourself, what is in this job for me? How does that role challenge you to grow? And if so, is it in the direction you had envisioned in your plan? Now, remember, we said in the first one that you need to be clear on your career growth plan. Now, ask yourself, what is in this job for me? Because by the time an employer is giving you a job, you've gone for interviews, they have checked your competencies, and they know that you're the right person. You're the right person for the job. But do we ask ourselves, and they know what is in it? They know that when they bring you on board, this is a value that you're going to add. But it is important for you as well to sit and ask yourself, what is in this job for me? As much as the employer has confirmed that I'm the right person and I will add value, I will be an asset to the business. So ask yourself the same question on the reverse. Rini, what is in this job for me? What do I stand to gain in this job? By leave this job, the roles that I'm going to have, because I've seen people jump into new roles because of the salary, because of maybe the work environment, or even the status that comes with the job. And some of them, unfortunately, are jumping into jobs also because of the ambience of the company or the brand, without asking themselves, what is in this job for me? You can even be in a very good environment. You can be in a very good company, in really a big company. But ask yourself the same question that your employer asks when when they are interviewing. You're 10 in the interview, and finally you're the final candidate. What is it that the employer saw? What value did they see in you? Ask yourself the same question on the reverse. Is this the person that I want to work for? Is this a brand that I want to carry with me? Is what is in this job for me? Look at the JD, and sometimes we don't look at the job descriptions keenly. I have been in HR, and I know people don't even look at JDs more. They look at the salary, they look at the offices, they look at the status, they look at the working hours a bit. And we begin to struggle with employees as HR because there are things that they did not look at. They looked at the salary first, and then they signed the offer. Then they come back and say, no, I didn't see this part that says I can work in any part or any location where this business has its presence. So look into the JD keenly. And that's why I'm saying you will need to consult a mentor who understands you, because you need to look at that job description. Compare that with what you have if you have a job right now. Does it challenge you, or is it going to even kill your skills and your growth more? Does the JD match your career growth plan? Does it align with your goals? Does it align with what you want to be? Because if then the JD is kind of takes you away from your dreams and your goals, then you need to think twice about taking that job. It's not just about the salary clause, because there are clauses that we are very good at looking at. You look at the salary one, then you will move into the working hours. There are specific ones that we need to, but keenly you need to be looking at the job description. If the job description positions you better for the next level that you want to be at. So ask yourself, what is in that job for you? Does the role help you to grow? Does it challenge you? Is there anything new that you're going to do? Because if there's nothing new, then you're not growing. You're actually going to be moving either for the money, but growth wise, you will not be growing. Now, number 4, we say the conduct a thorough background check on the business stability. Now, we need to dwell on this number 4. Conduct a thorough background check. Now, when we are doing recruitment, when we have finalized and agreed that we are settling for Rebecca, what we do in HR is we straight away go and do background checks, including going into your social media pages. Now, we will look at what you post, we will look at the language you use, because what you post really is you, it defines you. Your language and your character is in the things that you say, and your social media is really you. I cannot try to separate myself from conversations with Esther on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. That's really who I am. So we will go into your social media pages and everything, look at you, check your career growth, check um, if there's anything about you on social media that we may not know. We will call your referees who are on your CV. We will talk to them about you. We will even send them forms to fill about you. Um, and we always declare that that is confidential. So most of the, and I saw a joke, someone saying, check the list of your referees. They could be the reason why you're not getting jobs. But we definitely want to know who you are. We want to know your character. We want to know your integrity. We want to know if you're dependable. We want to know um, if you stand, you're standing, your moral standing is good, if you represent our brand, if you're the right person that we should go for. Now, that said, because we do a lot of background checks, my question was, do you also conduct a background check on the company that you want to join? Because it is very important for you to conduct background checks on the company that you want to join. Now, check on their business stability. Their businesses, you see, people have jumped from a stable business, of course, that may not be paying you so much. You jump into an unstable business that could be paying you quite a lot, but that may not last. In a very short time, then you have no job. So look at that. Do your studies. I am one person that will Google the owners of the business. I will Google the leaders in the business. And then I will now go down and break them. You see, you can Google a company by name and get the leadership. Then now I will go into the leadership one by one, go into their LinkedIn, go into any story behind them. So you begin to understand who the business owners are. If they have any scandals, please read through, so that you're not, if you're ready to become part of that, go for it. If you're not, then you need to understand that. So you need to understand also if the business is stable. What are people saying about the business? I have seen other businesses where if you go into social media like Facebook, you will get a scandal and you'll get people talking about being conned, people talking about salaries not being paid, or people talking about high turnovers. So those are things that you need to look for before you can make a decision. Just go and Google and check out if that is where you want to be. Um, Check on the culture and the leadership of that company, because that's really where you're going, and you cannot operate in this without the leadership. Now, organizational cultures, check on what people say. What are people saying? And you can always go into their website. If you go into their website, you will begin to see photos maybe of team building or events that they have, or how they do their events. Any other CSR projects that they have, the community projects that they have, because then if it aligns with what you want, then you begin to understand. So check at the back, check who they are. That will tell you what kind of a culture they have. Check if you're the kind that really wants a flexi workspace, then check around that. Their dress code, it will be there. Their office photos are there. You can also tell from the background checks you do, maybe on how the business responds to the market. If customers are complaining of something, it gives you a clear picture of where you're going, so that before you can join them, you understand, I'm going into a business. I have done background checks of companies that I've joined. I was about to join, and I will go into an interview and say, wait a minute, um, I saw this on the internet. So can you tell me about this? Because there are things you will see, there are scandals you will see, there are complaints that you will see from the customers. There are former employees that will post something. And maybe before you can make a decision, depending on your role, then you need to ask some of these questions and say, I saw this on social media. I saw complaints about maybe employees being terminated when their final dues are not paid. So can you comment on that so that you're able to address these issues? If you still wish to join them, please do. If you see these are red flags, then you need to think faster. Now, what else is there? If possible, number five, if possible, contact former employees to get the real feedback on the work environment. Now, we keep saying, and I keep saying that your former employees or your exits are your real brand ambassadors. Now, if your exits are negative, there could be one or two that will say, will speak negative about an organization, but I don't think 90% of exits can be liars. So there's one time I think I saw a job and I was about to apply, and I called a certain guy that we used to work with because I looked at his CV. As HR, of course, we see the CVs. So when we were hiring him, I'd seen that he had worked in that company, and I called him and I said, "Hey, wait a minute, tell me about this company. You were working there, and I know you are a senior person there." And I asked him, "So what do you say about them?" And he said, "Esther, go there at your own risk." Now, I really appreciate the fact that people have matured enough to speak boldly about organizations. I was telling a friend of mine, I think it's yesterday or today, that I saw a job posted somewhere in one of the groups that I'm in, and about two or three people in less than a minute had said, guys, if you love your life and if you love sanity, don't apply for a job in this company. They are rude, they terminate people, they have a very high turnover. People have come of age to speak about organizations. So if possible, please try and contact for my employees. Go on LinkedIn. If you just Google a company, it will give you at least now you can easily get the employees of a company. If you go to LinkedIn, you can now even go to people or employees and you will check, contact them, have a chat with them, and even those that maybe were there before, have a candid conversation and ask them exactly what happens in this business. And most of them, because they're exits, they have nothing to lose anyway. They will just give you the raw feedback. Now, go to sites like Glassdoor. Glassdoor will always give you feedback. Employees will go to Glassdoor and give their feedback. They give their feedback on management. They rate CEO. They give feedback on salaries. They give feedback on the environment. So it is good for you to do background checks as well. So speak to people that were in those companies and get to make a decision before you can move. Observe and do not ignore red flags you see during interviews. If they cannot make decisions to hire or not to hire, they interview you for one role, days later they change the role. Now, I've seen a lot of this in companies. I once went for an interview in my very early years of working, and we had a conversation with the business owner, and we agreed on what I was going to do. Now, I reported uh, I think it must have been a Monday morning, yes. And when I got to the office, the business owner who we had discussed with was not in. And what she said was, speak to the general manager. When I went to the GM, the JD was different. The employment terms were different. That's why I'm saying, guys, before you can sign anything, read through. Things change overnight. So for me, I will not sign until I have read something again. So I got the document and I looked at it. The role had changed, the terms had changed, everything had changed. And I called her and I said, this is not what we spoke about. And she said, don't call me, please talk to the GM. I went to the GM and he said, I'm sorry, that's what I got from the CEO. And in less than 20 minutes, I had left the business. And I said, guys, if you can't keep your side of the bargain, if you can't keep to this, then I'm nice to have met you and I've left. So it is important for you to observe red flags during interviews. You will see a lot of these red flags. If the panel cannot make a decision today, they're interviewing you for sales, tomorrow they're interviewing you for something different, the job offer comes as something different. So kindly be very careful about taking that job, because things will change. And I've also had people say, in this company, roles change. You're in, once you're in, things begin to change and things outside your JD will come in. It is okay for people to give you additional roles, but it is only courteous for them to consult you and have a conversation with you. So begin to just look for those red flags now. During your physical interview, take time to walk around the business if permitted, and listen to what employees say. You know, if you work in retail or in other businesses and they have branches, if you work in manufacturing and they allow you to go around, please have conversations with people that work in those businesses. Listen to what they're saying, and also read their mood and read their tone around the business. Because you can always walk into a shop and ask someone, so what do you think about your employer, or what do you think about the business? Now, you would definitely be able to read the mood in a business. I have walked around, I know, in different businesses, and I've worked in different businesses, including manufacturing. And sometimes uh, the people that are out there in the field who really make comments that keep you thinking. They leave you thinking, and they leave even a customer thinking. So I know of places in manufacturing where you walk around the factory, walk around the business, and people will say, if this person is here for an interview, we pity them. Now you need to begin asking yourself why those conversations are there. If you're signing in and the security person says, "Oh, you're here for an interview," are you sure you want to work here? Now, sometimes we think that the security person is malicious, but they may be trying to tell you something. So listen and begin to do. You cannot make a decision based on those comments, but I think it also tells you need to check. You need to do more background checks on the employer before you can make a move. Now, ask hard questions. Um, During interviews, the business performance, I know most people will just ask about their salary, their starting date, or where will I be based, my working hours, and all that. But I think a job is really more than just those things that you see. There's so many unwritten things that you don't see, especially business performance. You could ask, if depending on your role, you could ask, how is the business performing compared to last year, compared to other years? How is this business performing? What would you say about the business? Is the business growing, or what's happening? Or does the business plan to expand into other regions? What do you think about the business? So those are questions that you need to ask. Ask about turnover rate. Feel free to ask about the turnover rate, because that should tell you, if the turnover rate is high, you need to ask yourself why people are leaving that business. So it is okay for you to ask, so what is the turnover rate? How many people left last year for the business, or how many people have left in the past 6 months? And especially if you're going in as a HR or whichever role you're going into, please learn to ask tough questions, because we will definitely ask you questions and tough questions in an interview. But when it comes to you, please don't be the candidates that keep saying, you asked, do you have a question for us? No, I don't. Everything is okay. It's not okay. Ask questions about the business performance. How is this business performing? So when did this business begin? So what has happened? And the plans for the business. Are we expanding? Or how many people did we start with? How many are we now? How many branches do we have? How many branches do we intend to have in the next 2 years? And all that. Departmental structures. please get to understand it is okay for you in an interview to ask for the organizational structure, because that helps you identify your growth in that business. Now, if you come into a business and you just know that you're a supervisor or you're just a manager or you're just a support staff, and you do not know what opportunities are ahead of you or who is ahead of you, understand the structure. You could, even if they don't have to project it for you, it is good for you to understand how that business is run, and it is okay for you to say, is it okay for you to take me through the organizational structure, so that you're able to position yourself. You can see where you're coming in and the possibilities of going up, because that way you're able to clearly see if there's growth for you and if there's no growth for you before you can make a decision. So talking about that, ask for the structure of the organization or of the department. If you're joining a finance department, if you're joining procurement, if you're joining HR and admin or security, ask for the structure of that department. Because I am coming in as a manager, yes. So what is the structure in this department that I'm joining, so that you get to understand who do you report to, or how many people are ahead of you, or how many levels do you have ahead of you, or who reports to you. Now you need to understand those things. Don't just go into the interview and say, I don't have a question. You don't have a question, really. You need to understand who you'll be reporting to, and maybe, and who do they report to. It is okay for you to also ask, who do they report to? If I report to Esther and she's the head of the department, so who does Esther report to? So that you're able to see clearly what's happening in the business and where you are. Sorry. The next one is ask for the organizational structure. I've talked about it. Challenges that you're expected to come in and handle. Now you need to understand, because sometimes what the panel does not reveal to you is those issues that you're I can say, thanks Simba, okay, good, is that those challenges that you're coming to handle. Can you ask, what is it that you're expected to come and handle? Because there must be something. If they're looking for you, then they are looking for you to handle some challenges. So what are they? What is this in this department that you think and feel that Esther, just allow me to drink some water. What are those challenges that they know that Esther is coming in to solve this? Is it integrity issues? Is it discipline of employees? Really, what is that bit of the business that they feel they need you on board to come and handle? So it is important for you to ask those questions. Now, it is also important for you to ask, is that a new role or is that backfill? Now, if it's a new role, fine. But if it's a backfill, I think then you need to move that question a little bit further. So was there, when did the person leave, or why did that person leave? Most of them not tell you the truth, but then that tells you that somebody has left that seat, and you need to either know whether they got a better job or they could not stand the culture. So it is good for you to understand, is it a new role, is it a backfill? Because it speaks to you, it tells you a lot, and why did the person leave? Then dig into the policies, ask questions around leave. I have seen people complaining, oh, I joined a company, I didn't know they don't allow people to go for leave. I didn't know how they handle their leave or how they schedule their leaves and all that. So ask that, because your leave is your right, by the way. It is your right. So don't feel like you're asking questions that are not important. It is your right to understand if a business will give you leave, if they allow you to rest. Because if they don't allow you to rest, they don't give you leave. And most of them that deny leave will tell you straight that here we don't give leave. Then you begin to prepare yourself whether you're ready to work in that place, because you will soon get exhausted. The day you want to take leave, it's going to become difficult for you and for your family. So ask about how they manage performance. Unfortunately, I've heard of businesses where performance management and appraisals are not done, but promotions are done. So you get to ask yourself, so what's the criteria used here? if it's not performance, because if then there's no performance management and there's no appraisal, then you need to begin asking yourself questions on how then you will grow into that business, because either they have their favorites or they have their own strange ways of promoting people. So you need to call, you need to ask for those questions, to ask those candid questions. Ask about promotion, ask about succession planning, you know, ask all those questions. That will help you gather the inside information. So you have a lot of questions to ask in interviews. Don't go and say, I don't have a question to ask. Be candid. Ask questions that you need to ask. Because once you join, there are questions that will be very difficult for you to ask when you're inside. And those questions that you're asking would help you make decisions on whether you want to work with them or you don't want to work with them. Now, I said go online and search for the business rating. Sites like Glassdoor, I said, will be helpful. Don't ignore what you see online. You need that information to make a decision. As much as you may be desperate for a job, if what you see online signals that there's a problem in the business, be very careful before you jump from a single job into that one. I think we are on the last one, which says, and above all, pray and let God guide you on the job that you need to take. Not all jobs are for you, even if they pay you more. Not all jobs are for you. So I think that is the 10 of them. I don't want to call them the 10 commandments, but they're things that you need to watch out for. Um, I want to answer. You can post your questions. I'm seeing a question here. Hi Esther. As we continue, how do you overcome micromanagement? Because micromanagement is an issue that has led to people changing careers and competencies. Now, uh, some bosses and most bosses that micromanage are very weak in delegating, and micromanagement has turned out to be a huge and big source for toxicity in the workplace. Now, toxicity is something different that we need to discuss. Now, if your boss can't trust you, then they end up micromanaging you. So when a boss micromanages you, simply there's, I can't trust you with this assignment. And it's very irritating when you give me an assignment and you're all over me checking, have you done this? How far is it? Send me the report or share with me this document. Can I see it? Can I check on it? Now that really is choking for an employee. So leaders must learn how to trust their team members. If you delegate something, it is okay for you to check, but you cannot check on the basis that you don't trust me. You're micromanaging me. So it is a level of immaturity for a boss to really keep micromanaging people. It's insecure bosses micromanage people. Bosses that don't trust people, bosses that are very poor in communication micromanage you, because if a boss has given you proper instructions on how to do a certain assignment, then they should be able to trust that you can deliver that. And if a boss does not trust you, then they're simply saying you're incompetent, or they're either incompetent themselves or they are toxic bosses. So it's really a painful thing that and it chokes, it really drains people, and that's why you find someone saying, then you can come and do the job. If you have to keep checking on me and giving me calls, coming to my desk, coming to my machine, coming to check what I'm doing and everything, just trust me that I am competent enough to deliver this, and if I make a mistake, I am willing to be corrected. So it's just the level of maturity of a boss and the ability of the boss to delegate. So what else is here? We can post the questions, and I know we have 15 minutes to go today. It's been me, Rini, and I hope it's been helpful. Keep up the good work. Thank you. We start with what would be your highlight on attending to the question how to talk about yourself. Uh, Now, I think this is an interview thing. I think we need to come into a session that trains people on interviews. But now that you talked about it, Simon, talking about yourself, what the employer is looking for when they ask this question, they're looking for your suitability for the role. So please don't go into deep personal issues. Don't expose a lot of your weaknesses. We all have weaknesses. Don't go and say, I don't have a weakness when you're doing an interview. We all have weaknesses, but also when you bring out a weakness, don't bring out a weakness that jeopardizes your opportunities for the job. Now, you cannot be coming into finance and you tell me you have weaknesses with money. You're not able to control yourself. You're not able to manage your money. Then now that weakness will jeopardize your opportunity for the job. So it is okay for you to share a weakness, like maybe you had a case with a boss, and please make sure it's not a gross thing. But be very quick to talk about your success and how you overcame it and how you've learned the lessons you've learned. So when we're asking about talking about yourself, we are not saying, um, we are not telling you to tell me about your deep personal secrets. You know, we are saying, just tell us about your achievement. If it is your education, it is already, we already have your CV. So you can't go and dig into your primary school, dig into your high school, just run through them. We actually saying, give us a highlight of why you think you're suitable for this role. So speak to the need at that point. Speak to the job at that point. So ensure that you also don't wash your dirty linen in public. Don't come and tell us things that we don't need to know. There are things about your personal life that we don't need to know, and they don't affect your job. So please don't bring them into the interview. Now, let me say something else. I know time is going. Please don't come and look and start discussing, um, or trying to win the panel with your problems. I am a single father, I'm a single mother, we've been thrown out of the house, I don't have rent for, I don't know this. You see, sorry to say that the panel has absolutely nothing to do with that. They're looking for a competent person. So the discussion on the table is not about your problems. So please try and cover your problems, uh, because once you get the job, if you do get it, then you'll be able to manage your problems. Don't come and really expose your personal issues on the table, because what they begin to think is this person really mentally stable? Is this person emotionally stable to do this job? Even if you had the qualifications, then someone begins to ask, are they really emotionally stable to handle this job? So you're actually shifting their minds to something different. Um, Good work that you have joined. Thank you, Simba, for sharing the link. Following, keep doing the good work, Madam Esther. I'm learning a lot. Thank you, Simba. Good presentation. Thank you. Hi, Esther. What happens when you end up doing so much at work, but you're not given a chance to talk about chances of promotion or even pay rise? Now, it is unfortunate. You see, just like a vehicle is 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 a vehicle is able to move because it is fueled. And I think employers really need to understand what fuels their people. When people give in their very best, they need to be appreciated, they need to be promoted, and if the business is doing well, if the business is not doing well, that's a different case. If the business is doing well, then I think there should be opportunities, and leaders need to know that even if you're not going to increase my pay or promote me, then give me an opportunity to discuss my value addition to the organization. I think even being listened to really means a lot to an employee. So just being able to listen to someone, to listen to what they say, to listen to even appraise themselves, I think it is important. So it is an issue of leadership. If a leader cannot give you that platform, then what they are simply saying is that we are going to run you like a machine, and if you break down, we will dispose you, and we may not need to appreciate you. And it's really unfortunate. It's an unfortunate thing. So it is important, and it's also good for you as an employee. Kindly know, keep track of your achievements. Now, sometimes we wait for annual appraisals, and the annual appraisals, by the time you do appraisals, some of the things that you were able to achieve in January, Feb, March, you might have forgotten them now. A friend of mine taught me something, and she said, she opens a clean sheet every January, and she keeps track. She keeps putting in every achievement every month. When she does an achievement, she gets an achievement, she puts it in there. So when it comes to the time for appraisal, then she just opens the sheet, because then that sheet keeps track of for her. So do that. Please give highlight on mental health program. Simon, on May 3rd, 3rd of May, we have a webinar on on the CEO's perspective of toxicity. We want to understand what the CEO feels about toxicity. And toxicity has been an issue on the mental health of employees. So we will also have, we have our partners from Chiromo. They will be on board with us. So I'm inviting all of you. I think that would be a very good place to answer that question. But the mental wellness programs of employees, it is important for any organization to put in to put in place a program that you can have. It is called an employee EAP, Employee Assistance Program. And I think Chiromo will be talking about it on that date. So please join the webinar on that date, because that's a program they can give to your organization as well, so that you're able to check in on your employees. They're able to give you feedback on what they feel, and the stress levels of employees. You're able to also manage that. How would you deal with work environment where there are repetitive assignments? Now that's very boring. And if you're not the kind that really wants to do those assignments, that's how people live. But I think you can discuss that with your line manager. Um, and ask for more challenging roles. Now, unfortunately, if they have nothing to give you, I think you need to look for more challenging jobs. That's why I said keep looking at the job description. Don't go for job descriptions and job offers that are comfortable for you. Go for job offers that make you uncomfortable, jobs that challenge you. If you look at a JD of a job that you're going for, it is a JD that will even trigger you to go to school. It's a JD that will trigger you to look for a mentor or a coach, because some of the areas in that JD you do not know, but you must learn. Now, that way you will not get into this level of repetitive assignments. So look for, when you're looking for the next job, go for JDs and roles that challenge you. They challenge you to go for courses, that challenge you to join maybe mentorship groups or such things. Don't go for JDs that are comfort zones. You will soon get bored, because if something you've done and you can do it with your eyes closed, you're bound to get bored very fast. Kindly brush through the 10 things for us who joined a bit late. Rebecca, at the beginning, check out on my LinkedIn. Esther Katiba, LinkedIn. They're there. I know the others will swallow me up if I start doing that, but be clear on your career growth. Consult mentors before changing your job. Ask yourself what is in the job for you. Conduct a thorough background check on the business that you or the company that you're about to join. Contact former employees to give you real feedback on the work environment. Observe and do not ignore red flags that you see during interviews. During your physical interview, take time to walk around and listen to other employees before you make a decision. Ask hard questions in the interview. Go online and search on the business rating. And then, above all, pray and ask God to give you wisdom. I think that's a good summary. Which one is that? Let me just check before we finish. I know we have about 7 minutes. Simon, be clear on, yeah. Thank you, Simon. Good. Then you see, Simon. Simon is my admin here. Wow, this is beautiful. Simon has given you all this. Hi, good stuff. Thank you, Elvis. Elvis is my coach. If I must disclose in this meeting, Elvis is my coach, and Elvis happens to be my husband. So I have a very good coach, and he's very tough on me. So that's why I'm saying talk to your mentor or talk to your coach. I have a coach. And when it is time for him to guide on things, it is not a spouse thing, it is business. And I must be the best that I can be. So thank you for that. Give few highlights on how HR should act as business partners. Now, Simon, we need sessions with you, and I told you this. Now, The role of HR has changed from administrative and operational to strategic. Now, strategic means that HR must understand the numbers. They must understand where the business is going. They must speak a language that speaks profitability. A language that speaks sustainability of the business, a language that speaks growth and expansion of the business. So that's really what it is for HRS business partners. It also means strategic staffing. It means uh, hiring on competency based things, and it also means being able to give analytics on the employees, not just saying we have 10 people, we lost 3 people. It comes with analytics. It also comes with numbers that we have lost this percentage. It means this HR must also be able to convert, like if you lose an employee and you have to hire again, it's not just about hiring. It's the cost of hiring, which includes advertising for the job, it's the man hours for the people that are sitting in the interview and all those things. So the HR must be able to convert all this into numbers, and be able to present that and defend the business. What? Uh, do you have an article or books you have written? Thank you for asking that, Simba. Yes, there's a lot of articles. Go to Business Daily, they're there. And there's a book, I should have brought it here. By the way, our book is out. I'm a co author in the book called She Leads. It's on Amazon. She Leads, it's a Women in Leadership. We're about 15 women. It's actually going to be launched very soon. Thank you, Simba, for that. Yes, I am an author of a book, and I am my coach has said I must write other books now. That's how serious it is. So I'm definitely going to do some other books, but for now, go look for the articles, either on Business Daily. Go look for the book She Leads, on Amazon, and different articles. Just Google and check out. You will find articles by Esther Katiba. Wonderful session. Be blessed, madam. Thank you. This is good presentation. Carry on. Beautiful. Thank you. This is helpful. We have 3 minutes. Thanks, Esther and Simon. Impact HR. Thank you for joining Impact. Great conversations right there. Kathy, thank you. Esther, very insightful. Patricia, thanks, Esther. This is fantastic. I loved how you broke down the strategic HR. So thank you very much. It's 3 minutes to time. I am disciplined with time, so I don't want to keep you here too long. But please follow us. Follow me on LinkedIn, Esther Katiba. Go to our Facebook, Conversations with Esther, Instagram, Conversations with Esther. Go to our YouTube, Conversations with Esther Katiba. Subscribe and make sure that you join us. We have the Fireside chat every Wednesday, 7 to 8 p.m. On next Wednesday, we are having the webinar on the CEO's perspective on toxicity. Now, we want to speak to CEOs, seasoned CEOs, and we want to understand whether they really know about the toxicity in organizations, because there's this discussion that sometimes CEOs are not aware, or who owns the culture of the organization. So when it is toxic, it belongs to HR. When it is good, it belongs to CEOs. Let's have, and there's this iceberg of ignorance. I know most of you must have seen it, that says that CEOs and the top leadership only know 4% of what happens in the business, but 100% is known by the rest of the employees. So let's have that conversation, really. I think for me, I want to understand, what is it? Do CEOs understand? Do they know when an organization is toxic, or are they just silent and allowing people to suffer in organization? Because organizations, this toxicity is bringing that impact that you're talking about, Simon, on the mental wellness of employees. So are the CEOs just pretending that they don't know, or do they know about it and they're quiet and they're allowing other bosses and managers and general managers to terrorize other people in the workplace? The CEOs accessible, or they've just decided to lock themselves in and swing with their seats while everybody is suffering in the business? We'll have that conversation on Wednesday, next Wednesday. And next Wednesday, it begins at 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7. It's a 3-hour conversation. And we will sum it up in the same meeting with Chiromo. Chiromo will be speaking to us about the mental wellness of employees. So do not miss that. Let's have candid conversations. Do the CEOs also know that some HODs are toxic? Are they keeping quiet? Are the CEOs also allowing us that toxicity and bootlicking? We want to have very candid conversation because there's a lot of bootlicking in the workplace. Now, bootlicking is a different conversation, but you've seen those employees that are yes, everything they say is yes sir, is everything is yes. They actually they please the bosses. They will actually throw you under the bus to please the boss or to save their jobs. Unfortunately, the bootlickers are getting rewarded in the workplace. Is this what should really happen in the workplace? So don't miss. And Frank, Simon Frank says, please share with the event. Yes, I will share it on our social media pages. I didn't want to share it, I know, because we had this one going. So tomorrow morning you will wake up to that poster and the link. It will be a Zoom meeting, definitely. So you will be able to join. So make sure you don't miss that one. We want to have candid conversations. We must clean the work environment. We must make sure that the environment is conducive for you to work and that CEOs do not just sit at the top there and in their big offices when things are toxic down here, but they need to come down and address issues and begin to talk to the other employees. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for watching. It is 8:01. I respect your time. It's family time. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube Conversations with Esther and hit that notification button every Wednesday, Fireside Chat. Follow me on LinkedIn. For more information, go to our Facebook and go to the Instagram page, Conversations with Esther. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Can't miss Igani waiting. Definitely. Definitely. So check on the LinkedIn, on my LinkedIn, Esther Katiba. I will be having that flyer going on. Just a minute. I have seen something coming here. I don't know whether I need to address it here. Now, there's one question here that someone has sent. The question is on unlawful deductions. Can your employer decide to deduct your salary because you didn't meet your revenue collection target? Can they just decide to deduct 20 to 25% of your salary and make it effective immediately? Should there be a written period of notice for changing the terms of employment contract? Definitely yes. Now, I don't think your salary is pegged to maybe your sales and your revenue collection unless it is written in your contract. Now, your salary is a remuneration for your work done. Most organizations have commission structures. So if you do not meet your target, it should not affect your salary, it affects your commission in most places. So an employer who just decides without consultation to deduct your salary is an illegal thing. The law does not allow, your employer to come and deduct. Just because you do not hit your target, they come and deduct your salary. Nobody is allowed to deduct your salary unless there's consent. So this definitely is illegal, and I think you need to. The employer states that this is due to poor performance, but you have never been placed on a PIP. Now, the hardest thing for an employer to defend in court is the performance of an employee, especially if that employee does not have a JD. Number two, if the employee has not signed that JD to consent. Number three, if there is no appraisal done. Now, that employer cannot go to court and say that you're a non-performer because the court will ask for evidence. Did the person get a JD? Yes or no? Was the person given all the tools, or was the person equipped enough to deliver, including your computer and a favorable work environment? If yes or no, it determines. Now, have you done appraisals? How do you know the person is not performing? Show us any documentation. So there's a lot around performance that an employer needs to put in place. So um, someone should not just wake up and decide that they need to chop off your salary on performance or something, unless you have also consented to that in writing. But to front a case on performance is an uphill task, usually an uphill task for an employer, especially if the records are not kept very well. So thank you very much. I hope I've answered that question, which I have seen there. So thank you very much. Enjoy your evening. Once again, Conversations with Esther is grateful to have you. Let's meet on the social media pages, and we meet on Wednesday um, at the webinar. It's actually free. You're not paying for the webinar. So I'm bringing you CEOs and Chiromo Hospital for free. So please join us. We will share that. Yeah, I see someone here. Wow, so encouraging. Thanks so much. Douglas, the co-authored book is She Leads. She Leads. Yes, you can get it on Amazon. But we'll be launching that very soon. There will be a grand launch for the book. Thank you. Enjoy your evening. And thank you for being part of Conversations with Esther. Bye bye. And God bless you.